Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and this is our NXT show for the week. Let's jump right into it. First match of the night, Aiden English and Simon Gotch, aka the Vaudevillains, versus two local wrestlers, T. Perkins and Matt Sugarman. Good match. I like how it set up and showed the Vaudevillains. I believe this is their second week in a row on the show and second week on the show together. Aiden English has been on before. It was a good showcase for what the Vaudevillains are, what they're about. More of an old school style. I like the stuff that Gotch does. Like he put one of the guys in a head scissors and was doing one arm was doing push-ups and clapping, kind of like that while he was doing it. Just kind of old school carny feats of strength kind of looking things. It was a neat little thing, neat little addition. I like their finisher. It's a rolling Samoan drop or a fireman's carry drop to Aiden English doing a swanton bomb kind of move. It was a cool match. Like I said, it was a good way to show off their talents and show a new tag team. I like the fact that they go black and white and do the grainy footage for their entrance with the 30s style music. I don't know how it's going to fly on WWE TV once they break to the main roster, maybe a little bit of tweaking, but for now it's really fun and it's playing really well in the NXT arena. Next up we have Xavier Woods versus the debuting Bull Dempsey. Now we all know Xavier. He's been on Raw and everything. Bull Dempsey, if you didn't get to see the show, kind of looks like to me it's a weird, they kept mentioning him as a throwback, and he looked like, if you've ever watched the AWA wrestling, and if you got ESPN Classic, every now and again they play it from ESPN, he looked like a guy that would have got over there. He wears a black singlet, much like Taz. Has a look, I want to say, kind of like Hugh Morris, Bill DeMott, with a mix of Kenny Powers from Eastbound and Down fame, or TV show on HBO. I don't know, I didn't see much from him, to be honest with you. I know this was a debut, and Xavier Woods is a great wrestler to have a debut against because he can bring things out of you and showcase you. To me, it just fell a little flat, especially when you got a guy calling himself a throwback style wrestler, when you got the match before the Vaudevillains, who are a throwback to the 30s. Now you got a guy that's saying he's a throwback to the 70s and 80s. So I don't know. To me, it just didn't seem to sync up. Maybe in the coming weeks he'll be more of a threat and more, once they get more into his character, he'll build it better and change. But first impressions, I thought he was just kind of generic. I don't see it going anywhere, to be honest with you. Next up, we have Summer Rae coming down to ring, another debuting superstar, Becky Lynch. Now, Summer had the BFFs, Sasha Banks and Charlotte with her, accompany her to the ring after we seen the issues they had last week. Becky Lynch comes in. They played heavily to her Irish descent. She came out doing an Irish jig, kind of river dance-y stuff during the match. She's got bright red hair, wears a green outfit. Kind of looks like Jade from the Mortal Kombat series, her outfit, if you want to put a picture on it. I've actually seen Becky Lynch at some of their live shows before she debuted on television, and she's solid, and she was solid here as well. The only criticism I have is maybe they need to take a little of the river dance away, and maybe they did it because she was wrestling Summer Rae, who's known for dancing with Fandango, or Fandango, however the hell you want to pronounce it. But anyway, they need to move a little bit from that and just go to the fact that she's a good wrestler. I kind of find it a little weird that Irish wrestlers are kind of always stuck in the stereotypical Irish gimmick. Sheamus, Fit Finlay, the list goes on and on. Guys that have got that, it's kind of, I don't know, it kind of be refreshing just to see a guy, okay, he's just Irish. He doesn't fit the mold. When Aaron Neville comes out, he isn't overly, what they've done with the English where they've made him uptight snobs. He isn't like that. He's just a wrestler that happens to be from England. So to me, I don't know. They played up a little bit of the Irishness too much. The river dance could have been toned down a bit. She's a good wrestler. I think we've seen a little bit of a spark. I think, again, this match was more about the BFFs breaking up as Charlotte and Sasha Banks argue on the outside, distract Summer Rae. I think it was more about that than highlighting Becky Lynch's debut, in my opinion. Which brings us to our next match. Big Cass, Colin Cassidy versus Sawyer Fulton. Cass wins in a quick squash match. After the match, Sylvester Lefort and Marcus Louis come down to confront him. He looks to be outnumbered when we hear a new theme song. It wasn't his old song. Enzo Amore come out, who we all know is a running buddy with Cass, who's been on the shelf with a broken leg, gets a hell of a reaction at the Full Sail University campus. He's a guy that everybody loves. Grabs the microphone and shows us why he's a guy that's going to be one to watch for the future. He grabs the microphone and in a thick New York, New Jersey accent cuts his promo, calls the guy soft, S-A-W-F-T, soft. Talks about himself being the real G, him and Big Cass, the realest men in the room. All his stuff that he's done before, the fans said it right along with him. They bought right into the character. It gives, to me, and it's going to be a weird comparison for some people, because it's nothing alike, but it is alike, if you understand what I'm saying. It reminds me of the New Age Outlaws, where you got Big Cass, Colin Cassidy, a 7-foot, absolutely fantastic wrestler. He's not as good on the microphone. He's serviceable, but he's never going to be a guy. Well, he might develop that. I'm not going to say he never will. But at this point, he's not a guy that can sell you into his match with just his promo. He sells you on what he does in the match. Enzo is a good in-ring worker, but goddamn, when he grabs a microphone, it just grabs your attention. And here's where the Outlaws comparison comes from me. It kind of reminds me of Billy Gunn, a hell of a worker, couldn't really cut a great promo, could do what he could, was serviceable. We got Road Dogg, who was a decent worker, who, again, much like Enzo, when he grabbed the microphone, it captivated you. And you instantly got it. You instantly wanted to cheer for him. He became a guy that you loved. You said the catchphrases with him. When you put Cass and Enzo together, that's kind of what it reminds me of, the New Age Outlaws. I think it's a great comparison. A lot of people will say, oh, well, it's different. I understand it's different, but the fact is you're putting two people together whose strengths will make the other one look better. I think they got a bright future. I see Colin Cassidy as a future WWE champion, Enzo Amore being right there with him, possibly a future WWE champion, easily the future WWE tag team champions together. I think these guys are two of the absolute cream of the crop they have, and together I think they're better than it's kind of like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or Voltron for people that are a little bit older like myself. Apart, they could kick your ass. When they come together, there's no one stopping. Kind of the same thing with Colin Cassidy and Enzo Amore. And last but not least, we have our main event of the night, Adrian Neville versus Rob Van Dam. I thought this was a very good match. I thought it was something Van Dam and Neville put together, kind of a here's the old great high flyer versus the new great high flyer, passing of the torch kind of match. I thought it was good. I liked what they did. I liked Neville picking up the win. Rob Van, I'm sorry, yeah, Neville picking up the win. Rob Van Dam still looking strong, shaking hands afterwards. I thought it was a great deal. I liked it. I liked what it did for the does for Neville as a champion. And I think it speaks well about Rob Van Dam that he's willing to go and do stuff like this. Now, the thing about and also what added to this was Tyler Breeze, the number one contender on commentary. Him and Renee Young were going back and forth. It got a little bit weird at some point, but I think the way he was handling himself fit his character so well that it added to his character and, kept us going forward with what he does as well. Now, coming off of that, we're going to go into our ratings for the week. Now, if you've watched our NXT show before, we do a top 5 prospect ratings. Basically, guys that are on NXT, not the guys like Xavier and Summer Rae and Rob Van Dam that have come down from the main roster that do both. These are guys that are just in NXT. What I think the 5 best prospects are as of this week. Number 5, just talked about them, Colin Cassidy and Enzo Amore. Again, the sum of the team is greater than the parts individually, even though the parts themselves are great. I think they have a big future ahead of them. Number 4, Charlotte. She slipped a little bit because she's kind of muddled in a little bit of a feud right now that's not off the ground yet, but I do think there's going to be big things for Charlotte in the WWE in her future. I see multiple Diva Championships. I see long feuds with the likes of Paige and Natalya Neidhart. All the women that are up there right now. Add in Naomi, Cameron, all of them. I think she's going to be a great addition once she's caught up. Our number 3 prospect, Sami Zayn. What can you say about Sami Zayn that hasn't been said before? One of the most over wrestlers in the whole world was before he got to NXT. Will be long after he's done with NXT and WWE. He's a guy that captivates a crowd, gets him on his side right away. A guy that everybody wants to cheer for. Number 2, Tyler Breeze. He jumped up the rankings a little bit this week. His mic work during the main event commentary added so much to his character that's already one of the best characters they have in NXT. I think this guy is a can't-miss talent. Again, everybody in the top 5 I think is a can't-miss talent. But this guy, in my opinion, just keeps adding and adding to an already great character that by the time he gets to the WWE and he's on the big stage, he's going to pop off the screen like a Bray Wyatt does, like someone I know, and I know a lot of people don't like him, Bo Dallas does, but they stick out and they make a mark. And they come through your screen and force you to grab them and pay attention to them. Which is something our number 1 does as well. They've been number 1 since I've been doing the NXT show, the Ascension. I don't know why they're not on the main roster yet. Connor and Victor absolutely tear through NXT, have done so since they've been a team. They're awesome as a team. Their entrance is awesome. Everything about them screams WWE main event players. I mean, these guys could be the next big tag team in WWE along the lines of the Dudley Boys, the Legion of Doom, Demolition, the Acolytes, one of the big, bruising, hard-hitting, badass teams. And I think that they should be right in there with all those guys. But basically, that's all I have to say about this. My name is George Coles, and this has been another episode of Heel Heat.